Going back into employment law, our next question is for Wahida, and this question asks how much time an employer should provide, a prospective hire to review an employment contract.
So this won't come as a surprise to the legal professionals on this panel or anyone who's ever spoken to a lawyer, but it depends. Firstly, there's no should, but rather best practices for companies or employers. So in most cases, employees receive an offer or employment contract after one or more rounds of interviews. And most employment contracts do and should contain all the terms and conditions promised by the employer. Now, if the employer wants to protect themselves, I would recommend, if at all possible, that they give the employee several days at least to have the contract reviewed by an employment lawyer. Now, this may be difficult in competitive sectors, but a short offer letter or an email can be a stopgap in these cases, but they should be careful about how much detail is put in this letter, because if there's more detail in here and suddenly that person then receives a longer employment contract that reduces their rights, but you're not giving them something in exchange for it, that employer could run into problems if and when they terminate that employee later. So try to have everything in that employment contract right up front. I'd also recommend that there be a clause added at the bottom of the offer that the person or prospective employee has had an opportunity to obtain independent legal advice on the contract, and even a blurb that says that they've been given the opportunity, but they've chosen not to receive legal advice. Having said all that, whether they give the employee a lot of time or a short turnaround, the employer should make sure that they're providing this future employee an employment contract that's actually legal at the outset, because that independent legal advice clause or anything like that will not protect them from an ultimately illegal or unenforceable contract. So give them time, but make sure that contract you're giving them is as enforceable as it possibly can be at the day you give them.